Hey everybody, it's Rachel with Rachel Key Stitches and welcome to my channel. Today is Tuesday, January 24th, 2022, and this is FlossTube number 93. You know, it doesn't matter how many times I look down at that book, I'm gonna forget it in the 2 seconds that it takes. Anyway, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, this is a channel mostly about cross stitch. Every now and then, once in a while, I might throw in some other stitchy goodness like crochet or quilting, or even I'm branching out into a little bit of embroidery, and not a whole lot, but I might show those things too. Essentially, if it uses some kind of fiber, I'm in it, except for knitting. I can't do knitting. Anyway, tried, can't. So, welcome to my channel. If you're a returner, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. It has been 2 weeks since my last video, and I'll talk about that at the end when I talk a little bit about personal stuff. But I want to thank everybody who's reached out to me during this time and sent your well wishes and your prayers and your good thoughts and all that everything. It was very much appreciated. I really do appreciate each of you. Okay, I didn't get much stitching done in the past 2 weeks, obviously. But if you're new, or even if you've been watching for a while, and I don't mention it too often, my rotation for this year has been, I pick stuff that I want to work on for the week, and I use a couple of different groups on Facebook to kind of give me an idea of what I want to stitch. And I have categories that I stitch from. So I try to pick one from every category, and it's just, but I stick with it for a week. Well, because not this past week, but the week before last, I didn't get much stitching done. I just carried that same rotation over. So I did it for 2 weeks. Not really, but anyway. So I am going to show you what I stitched. This is my box. I know a lot of people like to show their box. This is mine. This is new for me because I have settled in more of a loose plan that I stitch from. I put it all in here. I put it next to my sofa. If you're new or haven't watched a couple of videos, I have started stitching from a master set of DMC. I just use DMC except for anchor and maybe a little bit of sulky, but for the most part it's a master set of DMC, specialty floss, you know, but master set of DMC is next to my stitching spot. This is next to my stitching spot, and any specialty fibers are in the bag with the item I'm stitching. So I am going to show you what I stitch. I do stitch on some things every week, and I'll point those out. We are having severe weather blow through my area, so it's getting dark, so I don't know what my lighting's gonna be like. In fact, it's such severe weather that my husband is a teacher, and they're getting off at 11:30, so I got to get this video done, uploaded, and everything before he gets home, and before we might possibly lose power. I don't know. Anyway, severe weather. Yay. Anyway, so I don't know what my lighting is going to be like, y'all, so I'm sorry if all of a sudden it goes dark on you. Anyway, so let's get to what I was stitching. So every week I work on my 25/7 piece. For those that don't know, 25/7 was started by, I believe, the Soulful Stitcher. I heard about it from C Zook Stitch, Carolyn Zook, and ran with it, joined the Facebook group. And if you want to see how much you can get done in just a little bit of time, go to the 25/7 cross stitch group. I believe that's what it's called, 25/7 cross stitch, or cross stitch 25/7, and look for my album. It's Rachel Q, and I'm stitching amid Amish Life. I go back and I look at what I started. I think I'm on week 18 or 19 now, maybe a combo of the two. And just what I've gotten done in that amount of time just still blows me away. 25 minutes a day. So this is where I'm at. Let me move these. Okay. Like I said, I didn't get much done these 2 weeks, but I did work on this area up here. I said I was going to get to the barn. Didn't get to the barn. Maybe this week. I don't know. But anyway, I worked on this little checkerboard field right there and this little part right here. There is an area that I'm going to have, there's another lady on the 25/7 piece that just finished her Mid Amish Life. She worked from the right, left. She worked from the left, right. I worked from the right, left. So she just finished this area, and there's an area with this weird symbols. I'm going to have to ask her what that is. But that is it right there. I still love this piece. I'm curious to see when I reach the 1 year mark where I'm at. This is going to be fun. Like I said, for the most part, I do get 25 minutes a day. There are some days I might miss. Then I'll put in an extra long FlossTube video, watch it, and stitch a little bit longer. So I did stitch this watching Laura stitching by the shore. I think her video was an hour last week, and so I just stitched for an hour and caught up. So that's it right there. I do love it. It's on a 32 count blue even weave. I had it in my stash. It was big enough. It was blue. The original piece does call for a blue fabric. There are some people that stitch it on white, and then they stitch a DMC equivalent in the sky. So that was, I thought about doing that, but I didn't. I had this piece. I just went ahead and used it. I am using 2 threads. Good coverage. I like it. Okay, so that's a Mid Amish Life. And let me show you. I forgot I printed all these out so that y'all could see what my things look like. And I'm not using them. This is what it's supposed to look like as one piece. It was originally published as 3 separate pieces in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts from 1986. But some people got the genius idea to stitch it together. And so this is one of the people who stitched it. I just like theirs. So that's it. So that is a Mid Amish Life. Okay, the next one is the Cross Stitch Studio is doing a mystery. Part 2 has been released. I'm still on part 1. She says if you do like 250 stitches a day, you can stay on track. I don't do 200 and something stitches a day on this one piece. I do try to touch it several times during the week, but I think maybe I get like maybe 300 stitches a week. This will go into my, even though I do touch it every week, it will go into my normal rotation eventually. So hopefully I can catch up. I don't know. So this is what I've done. I did like 400 stitches in one day of one color. And that's all this down here. So I found a color that was missing up here, and I just stitched and stitched and stitched. I pull out a length of 6 strands. This is an 18 count easy grid, and I do use 2 strands. So I'll pull out a length of 6 strands. I stitch, and I think I did that twice, pulling out a length. So that is it right there. I'm hoping to do the same thing, like just pick a day where I can stitch like maybe 400 stitches and really get, like I said, part 2 has come out and there's pink. So I'm ready to stitch another color. So I might go across the bottom and work up the pink, because the pink is on the bottom. You can't see that. I'm looking at it. You can't see it. The new pink is right here. So it continues gold, comes down, and then pink starts. So I might go across here and just work on the pink and then get some color in my life. So totally no system. I don't have a system. I pick a color. I go with it until it either runs out of color or I get bored with it. And that's how I stitch. No diagonal, no parking, none of that exciting stuff. These are waist knots. Somebody asked me about waist knots, and I'll explain. A waist knot is where basically when you finish stitching, you bring your length of thread over, especially if there's nothing to run it under. Like if I haven't stitched enough that I feel like I can run it. Oh, y'all, sorry. Anyway, sorry. Where I feel like I don't have enough stitches to run it under, I will just bring it over it, pull it up. And then what happens is as I stitch this area, it'll cover up that thread. And then when I feel like I have enough stitches covering it, I'll snip it. It's a waist knot. I kind of learned that from needlepoint. They do waist knots. So this is the mystery. You can still join, I believe. I I think February might be when you can't join anymore. And I don't know. I need to check that and see. But this is by the Cross Stitch Studio. There's no picture because it is a mystery. Okay. Mini Patchwork Quilt Room. This is it. This is by Heaven and Earth Designs. I really don't remember the artist. I need to write all that down. But this is it right here. I am doing the mini version. This was my full coverage focus for this week. And I, again, start from the lower right. Some of them I do and some of them I don't. This one I did. This is start from the lower right. And again, oh, I was so excited. I got so much of this filled in. All this filled in right here. Again, picking colors and just, I go until I feel like, okay, I can't go any further because there's not enough point of reference for me. So that's what I did. It's so colorful. I love this piece. So my goal, well, I won't be stitching on it this week. I'm putting this away because I'm picking up, and I'll talk about that, what I'm going to be doing at the end, but I am picking out a new full coverage for the week. So this is my full coverage focus for the week right here. I love this piece. So I think I got a lot done. I actually wrote down how many stitches I did each day, but I didn't transfer them. Sorry. So they didn't get transferred. They didn't get written down. I'm going to try to start doing that. I always thought, why do people count their stitches? And really the only thing I count my stitches on or anything that uses Pattern Keeper that will keep track of my stitches. So, you know, I don't count my stitches any other way, like regular stitching. I don't do that. Okay. The next one, God Shed His Grace. This is a stitch along that I have joined. It was started by Angie Slowly Crafts, Adventures in Stitching, and Nikki Stitchy. Those are some YouTubers that are doing it. I think there's one other, but I could not locate her name on the hashtag. And then there's also some Instagrammers that are doing it. So the hashtag is God's Grace Sundays. So the gist of the plan is that we stitch it on Sundays. So I stitch mine while we watch The Chosen. The Chosen didn't play this Sunday, so I stitched it while my husband watched football. So this is my Sunday stitch. I don't stitch a lot on Sundays. Sunday's a day that I just really catch up emotionally and mentally, and this week I needed some emotional catching up, and that required a nap. So I napped Sunday, and I did get a little bit of stitching done. So this is God's Grace. God Shed His Grace. I'm doing the cropped version by the Cross Stitch Studio. It is artwork by Abraham Hunter. There are some ladies that are doing the artsy version. Some people are doing the big version. I'm not. So mine is just the house. It is the cropped, and this is the version that I am doing. This chart was actually gifted to me. So when Angie mentioned that she was doing it, I'm like, I have the chart. So I said, can I do the cropped version? But so it's cropped, but it's still 341 by 341. So it's decent size. So I am excited because I got into the gray. So this one I did start in the upper left like normal people. And I got a good bit done. I want to say I worked on about 200 stitches while watching football. So that's it. I didn't stitch it during the whole football game, but I did for the most part. So that's it right there. Not too bad. Like I said, I need to write down exactly how many stitches I'm doing on these things for you guys. That's it. I am liking full coverage. You know, when I first got back into stitching, I would see full coverage and I was like, nope, not doing that. Not doing it. Not doing it. It's too much. I would look at, you know, people were doing full coverage and they were doing parking, or they were doing diagonal, or they were doing diagonal parking, or they were doing double diagonal. And I was just like, that's too confusing. And then I just started watching other people I started watching full coverage FlossTubers, and they just did whatever. Some of them did it, But some of them were just like, I just pick a color and go. And I kind of like Stitching Mommy's method, her little typewriter method, but I don't go all the way across. Although I think sometimes I probably should. I don't. I might try that for a piece. I do have a new smaller piece that I'm starting in February, and I'll talk about that next week when I talk about February plans. I'll show what I am stitching. But I think I might try it for that because it is a smaller piece. It's only like I don't know, 190 by 190 or something like that. It's pretty small. So I finally decided to try full coverage, and it was actually Laura with Stitching by the Shore. She did a small full coverage, and then she started doing bigger ones, and I was like, you know, she's getting a lot done, and she's not using some fancy method. She's just kind of stitching what she wants. So I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. And so I purchased one and fell in love with them. I love full coverage. So anyway, they take longer to finish, obviously. I won't have as much stuff hanging on the walls, but I love stitching. So they're fun to stitch. So I'm loving full coverage. That's what I'm trying to say, y'all. I'm out of practice. You know, it's amazing when you miss a week and you just kind of forget what you're supposed to do. Anyway, the next thing I stitched was Queen Elizabeth in her coronation dress. This is by Teresa Gil. Designs on Etsy. She's also on Instagram, and a lot of her newer charts she releases just on Instagram. I bought one a couple of months ago, and she just now put it up on her Etsy before she released it on her Instagram. I'm hoping to start that one for my birthday, and that's Enchanted Rachel. So I'm excited about them. But this is it. I will be putting her name and just the dates that she reigned, and that's it. This one has a lot of beads. A lot of beads. A lot. I haven't done any of them yet. This is on a 28 count that I hand dyed myself. And I keep it in the hoop so that I'll know which way is up. So this is what I did. I basically stitched all of this color all throughout the whole thing right here. So those little diamond areas are where I stitched. I'm not a huge fan of even weave. I will do 28 count even weave. It's not my favorite. But that's what I got done. I still love this piece. I really do. I can't wait to finish it. I like working on it. So this was my fancy piece for the my categories that I have. So that's it right there. Okay, and that's my big pieces. My next, oh no, wait, I got one more. One more. And that is this, oh, I need to take this one out of the hoop. This falls under my category of, I know I haven't been telling you my categories, I'm just now throwing these categories out at you. This falls under my samplers and other category. And this is Joyeux Noël by Blackbird Designs. And this is it right here. Sorry about the hoop mark there. This was my sampler category, and basically all I did this week was worked on the berries. I'm using DMC, I think it's 115 for my berries and for the bird. This is 28 count natural even weave that I hand dyed with pearl gray Rit dye. Sorry, y'all, my shoulder's hurting. So that's what I did. I did all the berries. I will not put the words on the bottom. I don't have a picture of it. Like I said, my book is, I don't know where my book is MIA. I'll just put probably another row of these. I won't put any words because I do want to hang it up year round. Okay. So that's it right there. All right, so that is my sampler category. And then I have my ornaments. I am working on 2 sets of ornaments. One of them is the Shannon Christine 12 Days of Christmas. This is it right here. The other one is technically not an ornament. But I'm making them into ornaments. And I have no idea where it's at. So hopefully it's in my bag. If not, I'll show it to you tomorrow, next week. So this is day one. Shannon Christine, day one. Partridge in a Pear Tree. I did the beads. I worked on the tree. Worked on a little bit of the pear right here. Mainly, I just did the beading. Again, it was not a great week. 2 weeks to be stitching. But that's what I did. I don't know if I'll have this finished by the end of January, but I'll start February, obviously in February. And then what I'll probably do is continue working on January and February together until it's done. Y'all, if y'all are new here, forgive me. I'm normally not this all over the place, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, I found my second one. This is by Carolyn Manning Designs. This is my grandma's jewelry box. I have all my grandma's and my mom's costume jewelry from the, my grandma's, I guess, from the 40s, 50s, my mom's from the 50s. And this piece is so much fun. And I do have 2 needles because one is for beading. There it is. I'm almost done. I didn't work on it at all this week, but I worked on it last week. So hopefully I'll have this finished. So when she releases the new one, I think I might work on this when I'm uploading this video. So hopefully I can get this done and finished. Not fully finished, finished. So that is it. There is some beads. I started working on some of the beads. So let me ask you. I don't like beading needles. And somebody mentioned a 26 petite, 28 petite. I don't remember. A petite. And that's what I've been using. I've been using a petite needle. It's not a true petite, but it is a smaller than small needle. Smaller than regular needle. What kind of thread do you use? These are gold. And the beads are gold. See, right there. I'm just using regular sewing thread. I had a spool next to me on the sofa from fixing a button on my husband's shirt. And I was like, oh, let me use this. I mean, I know usually if I'm using a bead that has a color to it, I try to pick a floss that's very similar to use. I don't like beading thread. It's slippery. So what do y'all think? What do y'all use for beads? I'm curious. I'm just using a spool like this that I use in my machine and to put buttons on my husband's shirt. So that's it. I love them. I can't wait to see what next month's looks like. It's going to be nice. It's going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to what that's going to look like. Okay, let me take this down. I got a little bit of haul. Not a lot. I do have some fabric that's supposed to be arriving today. I guess I'll show that next week. It's for the baby quilt. I am working on a quilt right now. It's not necessarily for the baby. It's just kind of testing out a pattern and seeing if I like it. So far I do. So I will be stitching one of the baby's quilts with that. And I'll be working on the quilt that I'm redoing that my mom had started. So anyway, so kind of a segue into why I have haul is we have been finally going through my mom's boxes from storage. This is mostly books that she had. We've been donating them all. We have a great local thrift store that we love that really doesn't try to jack prices up. All their books, I mean, they'll have sales like books 10 for $1. And so I'm like, what am I gonna, I can try to sell them. I just don't have the energy. So while we were donating, my husband was unloading the back of my car. I'm like, I'm gonna go inside. In my defense, he was dropping off about 15 boxes of books, and I just bought 3 things. I think I did pretty good. Okay, they're vintage linens, which y'all know I love, and 2 cross stitch and 1 embroidery. I paid $1 for each of them. Not bad, not bad. So There's this one. This is a table scarf. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, look at that. You got the little lace on the edge. The lace looks like it was not handmade. I have somewhat handmade lace. This does not look handmade. It's the same right here. Beautiful, beautiful. Love it, love it. And then the cross stitch pieces. Now, I have been dreaming of finding cross stitch pieces like this, and never could. And just, if I did, they were in antique stores and somebody slapped them in a cheap frame and they're selling them for $50. So I paid 50 cents for each of these. I love them. This is the first one. Isn't it great? Oh, I love it, love it. So it's got a combination of embroidery and cross stitching. Look at those crosses. Isn't it great? I love these pieces. And then this one. Oh, love, love, love. Look at that tree. Oh. Anyway, these are by Chelsea Association Inc. So I haven't looked them up yet. I need to do that and see when they're from. I want to say this type of cross stitch was popular anywhere from the 30s up until the probably 70s, maybe. I'm not sure. I need to really look into that. But I was so excited when I saw these. I was like, yes. So I told my husband this summer when he's off of school, we are going to work on framing some things. I have several pieces that I have finished that are not framed. I have some vintage pieces from my grandma and my mama that I need to frame. And I have these. And what I'm going to try to do is on the back of each framed piece, put a bit of information. I bought this at a thrift store. So my kids, you know, when the time comes and they pull it off the wall and they see, oh, mom bought this piece at a thrift store, we can redonate it. Or, oh, this was made by our great-grandmother, you know. So that kind of thing, just so they kind of know who made it, about when it was made, just have that knowledge. When the time comes. Luckily for me, I did have my mom, and my mom and I were very, we talked a lot about this kind of stuff, you know, like who made this, who did this, and so that's just kind of, I know my grandmother did, you know, the things that she did. I know my mom did the things that she did. Sometimes I'm like, did my mom make this or my grandma? But I know it's one of them that made it. So anyway, so that's what I want to do when I frame these items. I can sit there because my mom has some paintings and I have some paintings from thrift stores. So I need to write on the back, this was painted by your grandmother, you know, so that they know these things. So it's not confusing when the time comes. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do when I get these items framed, is to put little notes on the back of them. There's a plan. All right. That is all I have for stitching. Apparently I talked a lot this week. And that's all I have. So I'm going to go into my personal life. If you're not interested in that, thank you so much for stopping. I will hopefully be back next week. Storm's about to blow in. Husband will be home soon. Anyway, so again, thanks everybody for your well wishes, your prayers on the death of my mother-in-law. It was kind of by surprise. She had been sick. She had lung cancer in 2021, I believe. They were still wearing masks and she had to go by herself for chemo, which was just horrible. I'm like, anyway, so she had lung cancer. She smoked for 60 years. And she, you know, stopped smoking, was doing good, was cancer-free, but the doctor basically said, your lungs are toast. I mean, seriously, they're done. So anything that happens, you need to nip it in the bud. Oh, she caught COVID. And, you know, hold on, I'm gonna drink some coffee. She was the type of woman that she would go to a doctor. She had like 8 different doctors. And she wouldn't share information among these doctors. And some of these doctors were small town doctors who weren't associated with the hospital that her cancer doctor was in. So they didn't have access. And so she went to the pharmacy because she wasn't feeling good. She thought she had a sinus infection and she had COVID. And so she has COVID. She had COVID. And ended up going to an emergency clinic that was associated with her cancer doctor. That's where her son brought her. And they're like, you need to be admitted to the hospital. Not only that, she had an inflamed gallbladder, which after she was admitted to the hospital, we never heard anything about the gallbladder. All we heard was about the COVID. So she had COVID and she went to the hospital and they had put a tube in her. And again, they weren't allowing the boys to go in to see their mom. They were allowing one a day, so they would take shifts. And so one of the days that my husband went, she was sitting up in a chair. She didn't have a tube. She wasn't talking because her throat was sore. And so my husband got to talk to her, and her other son had seen her the day before, and she was doing the same thing. And then the next day, the youngest son went in and she was back on the tube, and they basically said she can't live without the tube, essentially. So that was on Thursday. They called my husband in and basically said, we're going to take the tube out. Whatever happens, happens. So they made that decision. The boys signed all their paperwork and we took the tube out. And true to Quibido form, she's actually a Cormier, so true to Cormier form, which they're very stubborn, she woke up. And the boys got to talk to her, which is great. She got to see most of her grandchildren. Some of them couldn't make it, some could. Her oldest granddaughter made it, and I think when her oldest granddaughter walked in the room, she realized what was happening, that she wasn't going to be better. Everybody was in the room. And so I think it clicked, because when she saw her oldest granddaughter, I could see the look in her eyes that were very much, oh my goodness, if she's here, this is not good. Because she lives about 2 hours away. So anyway, so she, this was Thursday. Friday morning, my husband, of course, went up early. And he texted me. He said, we're bringing her to a hospice home. To take care of her until, the doctors are like, she can't live without the tube, that type of thing. So we brought her to the hospice home on Friday, and she passed away on Saturday. So, nobody was in the room. Her niece was in the room. The boys had walked out so the niece could, talk to her, and that's when she passed. Anyway, so we had our funeral Tuesday, said goodbye to the matriarch of the family, and I am now the oldest female. They were giving me a hard time, but that's me. So it's hard, we sat in her home and we ate dinner after the funeral, and we were just like, she's supposed to be here. I mean, nobody sat in her chair. It was just, but anyway, so we went through her pictures and found some pictures and whatnot and got all that ready, and said goodbye to Mama. And it was a hard week. Didn't do much stitching. I think every now and then I'd pick something up and put about 10 stitches in, set it down, and just not do anything. Anyway, I wasn't super close to my mother-in-law, but super close to my mom, but not my mother-in-law. And I think that's probably why, because, and not only that, my mother-in-law, we lived in Tennessee for 14 years. She didn't drive far. She didn't like to drive far. So driving to Tennessee was not going to happen. She didn't like to fly. So, it wasn't like I did a lot with my mother-in-law, but to see my husband hurt is just not easy. So anyway, so that has been my life for the past 2 weeks. We're getting a little bit better. My husband has a renewed interest in going through my mom's things because he knows we're going to have to go through his mom soon. So we've been doing that, and just, trying to go on. Try not to live with the I should haves more. I mean, you do what you can. He saw his mom every other weekend, talked to her every other weekend, and so it's not like he never went to see her. And I told him that. I said, you talk to your mom once a week. We live 45 minutes from her, that kind of thing. So, Anyway, so you work through those emotions, and you just kind of every now and then you feel guilt. But anyway, so that's what we're doing. We're making it. We're doing good. My nephew, my brother's oldest, my husband, I keep saying my brother, my husband's oldest brother, my oldest brother-in-law, his oldest son is getting married this weekend. So that's going to be nice. It's going to be good to go. I don't think Mama would have gone to the wedding just because of, like I said, her health. She might have gone to the wedding, but not the reception. So we're going to do that. I think most of my kids are gone. We're waiting on the baby. Get ready to have a shower next month, and so that's going to be fun. So anyway, so that's what we're doing. So hopefully this week I can get some more stitching done, get some resting done, rest my brain. You know how your brain just can't seem to function after stuff like this. But anyway, so I'm hopefully getting some stitching done. I'm going to look at my book. I should have told y'all this before I told everybody bye. I'm going to be working on Gathering Honey this week. Yay! I'm so excited. Ironwork Gate I'm bringing out, which I'm thrilled to bring out. Pageant Kings, I've hardly worked on that because I was waiting for some specialty fibers. I got those. And then again, of course, my ornaments. I'm going to work on those. Ironwork Gate is considered a full coverage, even though it's not in Pattern Keeper. So I might pull out another full coverage and work on it if I feel like pulling out Pattern Keeper. I love that program. I love it. If you don't have Pattern Keeper, get it. It's amazing. So that's what I'm going to be working on. So I'm going to clear off my table. I want to try to finish this quilt top this week. Clear off my table, get my new projects in where they belong, and I will see you guys next week, Lord willing. Y'all have a great week. Bye.